What's going on YouTube? My name is Lerone Graham. This is Going Over Pro Wrestling Show, episode 3. And as the same trend as the last couple weeks, I'm going to be breaking down Lucha Underground. I'm more than a believer, man. I've bought in through and through. And this is the time of the year where us believers get to really just enjoy basically free pay-per-view on television. And this time in the form of Ultima Lucha Dos. I'll keep this video more to the point. Got a lot to break down. We got 3 weeks to do it, and it's shaping up to be a great show. But before that, got to get a word from our sponsors. Garden of Eatin' Blue Chips, blue corn tortilla chips, because they're delicious and I like them. Okay, so the show's broken down into 3 weeks, and I'm not completely sure which matches will be for which week, but we do know that the first match was just booked this past week at the Go Home episode. It's what Dario Cueto called a unique opportunity match, and I was glad to see them book that because it features some of the most important guys who, up until then, hadn't been involved in any kind of storyline. Those guys were Cage, The Mac, Tejano, and Son of Havoc. They got a really good name for themselves, so it was great to see them not just get thrown together in a match, but thrown together in a match with a purpose. With Lucha, they do, to me, the best gimmick matches and they provide the best unique opportunities. Like when the Gift of the Gods belt first came out, I was like, that's special. But I'll put my prediction hat on right now. I'm going to say that Cage goes over in this match. And I'm also going to say that the unique opportunity is going to be something that will give Cage some sort of running storyline, or Cage, because that's who I'm thinking is going to win. But whoever wins, some sort of running storyline that is important to the entire temple. There's rumors that Prince Puma might be leaving, might be going to WWE, and they're going to have to really be building stars. And like I said in the first video I ever made, I feel like Cage is a guy that can build a company around. I feel like Johnny Mundo is another guy, star power, can work with anybody on the roster, and he's just ready. So I'm excited no matter what, but I think Cage gets the unique opportunity. The next match, once again, I touched on this in my last video. The baddest bitch in the building, Ivelisse versus Taya. And it's funny how it shaped out because in the previous video, I basically said that Ivelisse called herself the baddest bitch in the building, and if you call yourself that, then someone's going to stake claim to that crown, and you got to show and prove. So literally, this previous episode, Dario booked it that way. He was like, let's see who is truly the baddest bitch in the building. Well, he didn't say it. He was afraid to say it, but I'm not. So they're going to go head-to-head. Both of these chicks can work like crazy. They bring intensity, energy. I love that their characters are so different from each other. So different from each other. And it makes them clash. It builds good energy as far as Ivelisse is clearly, babyface. Taya is clearly, I laugh at her so much. I think she's a lovable dirtbag. She's a great heel because her and Johnny Mundo, they don't care about anybody but each other and their clique. So I think this is going to be a phenomenal match. And I hope they give them some good time to work together because I do think they work well together. Prediction, I feel like Taya wins this match to garner some heat. Elevate her as a nice heel along with her stable Worldwide Underground. And I think this carries her further. I think Ivelisse takes a L, and because I think she doesn't need the win. I think that she's already the baddest bitch in the building. So to me, a loss is more interesting. It gives her the opportunity to regroup. She's been injured a lot, so you can play up that. Like, man, I'm trying to get healthy. Man, what's going on with my group with Angelico and Son of Havoc? Man, it's been a while since I held those trios titles. What's next for me? I think Ivelisse losing this match and raising some questions is more interesting than her winning. And for that reason, I think Taya pulls it off. Next, we have Black Lotus versus Dragon Azteca Jr. I have no clue what to expect out of this match because as of right now, all we've seen Black Lotus do is have vignettes backstage. They've been interesting vignettes. They've been important vignettes because she's been mixing it up with Matanza Cueto and Dario Cueto. So, to me, I know nothing about Black Lotus, but they've built this angle for so long. So I feel like this match has to deliver because it'd be a huge letdown for this to be building to all of this and kind of keeping Black Lotus out of the ring, out of the temple. She hasn't appeared in the temple yet, to my knowledge. Dragon Azteca Jr. showed some nice ring work. So I'm interested in seeing what he does. I think he wins, and I think they move to the next phase of that storyline. We have Prince Puma versus Rey Mysterio Jr. Now, I mentioned earlier that, oh my gosh, Prince Puma might be going to WWE. It looks like they're not raping, but they're pillaging other people's villages right now. Everybody, basically. They hit New Japan hard. They're coming for Lucha. Nobody's safe. WWE's expanding their rosters and kind of trying to take over the world, even though they've already done that multiple times. So Prince Puma's a hot commodity. I'm gonna assume he's leaving, to be honest. I don't know why, but he's after the Ricochet versus Will Ospreay match. That's kind of the hottest he's ever gonna get on the Indies. People were calling that match an instant classic. I believe ESPN talked about it. So in order for him to cash out, I think this would be the time to do it. Sucks because I don't think they're going to use him as well as he's used in New Japan. Well, I'm more of a fan of his Prince Puma work, to be honest. To me, he focuses more on telling a story in the ring with Lucha, but he's clearly a bigger name as Ricochet. But I think this is the hottest his brand's going to get as far as being on the Indies. So in terms of mainstream attention, clearly it's going to get better. Clearly he's going to keep developing, but in terms of catching the eye of the general public, this is as big as he's going to get. And business sense says to jump at the money while the money's there. So he could always go back to the Indies, always come back to Lucha, but I feel like he's gone. Rumors that Ray might leave. Who knows? Another conversation for another video. But the match itself, I believe Prince Puma goes over. I think it's going to be one of those lengthy veteran passing the torch matches, but I think Ray's going to look phenomenal in it because we've gotten to see him in trios matches, but we haven't gotten to see him unleashed as Rey Mysterio. So I'm geeked to see how it turns out. Like I said in the previous video, I think he's motivated and hungry. I'm looking forward to see this, but I think Prince Puma goes over. This one could be the match of the night. I know I had the unique opportunity match as the sleeper, but you can probably pencil this one in to be the match of the night as far as telling the story in the ring, because we have Mil Muertes, who's been antagonized by King Cuerno all season, and we have King Cuerno, who has, to me, he's really coming to his own this season. I'd probably compare his run this season to Cage's run last season. Cage was a guy who sniffed the top spot, captured the attention of the audience, and improved himself. I think King Cuerno did that this season, and I think this match is an epic blow-off to the feud that they've been having, and it's probably going to steal the show because it's a death match. Lucha never disappoints with their gimmick matches, and I don't have any reason to see why the death match would be any different. I'm interested to see how they will structure their death match because they just announced it. They've kind of always put their little twist on things. We're talking about death. You got to talk about the Hunter. He deals in death just as much as Mil Muertes does, but he's the protagonist for it. I think King Cuerno's gonna do things we've never seen him do before, and they're gonna blow the roof off the place. But I have Mil Muertes winning this, similar to the reason I have Taya winning. Mil Muertes, he's held the belt, he's done this and that. He's kind of been King Cuerno's victim for much of the season. He had him encapsulated in a glass case or something like that. But I think a loss would be more interesting, either to continue the feud or for King Cuerno to add another dimension to where he was like, okay, I've used these hunting tactics. I've stalked this guy. I cheated to beat him last week. I'm surprised the commentators didn't mention his foot on the rope and everything like that. I was surprised they didn't mention that. But I think it'll be interesting for him to lose a hugely devastating match, because this is a brutal match. This is not the kind of match you can just lose. If you lose it, you're going to get beat up badly to a pulp, most likely. There's not really flash victories with a death match. So, safe to say whoever loses is going to lose pretty bad. So, how can the Hunter get beaten to a bloody pulp? I believe he will. And it'll be interesting and add another dimension to his character, seeing what he has to do as the Hunter to resurrect himself and garner the tools that it's going to take to hunt the bigger prey. Because if you just got bested by a guy who's been there and done that in the title picture, you got to regroup and come back somehow. And that's only going to make him all the more interesting and probably push the envelope a little bit more in Season 3, which they just wrapped Ultima Lucha Dos, I believe. And I saw the pictures and stuff on Instagram. They seem like they have so much fun with that show. So hats off to them for living their art and doing what they love, because it shows in the product. And you need to let guys be creative, and you need to let them have fun, and you need to let them want to show up to work every day. That's the only reason you make something beautiful, and they've done that so far. So I wasn't surprised to see that they all get along backstage, and that they're all knocking back drinks, and Melissa Santos doing her dances and stuff like that. That's a family environment, and it shows up every single episode on screen. But anyway, I have Mil Muertes going over, and I think it'll make King Cuerno more interesting and let Mil Muertes also move on to his next feud. For the Gift of the Gods title match, we have Nightclaw, Marty the Moth, Killshot, Sexy Star, Mariposa, Daga, and Sinestro de la Muerte. This match has a lot of different elements to it. Clearly, you got the two women, Sexy Star and Mariposa, who killed each other in the No Mas match. I'm still going to make a video on that, haven't forgotten. We have Killshot versus Marty. They don't like each other for clear reasons. Marty took his dog tags, and he's Marty. Nobody likes Marty. We also have Daga. Nightclaw, the debuting Nightclaw. So it'll be interesting, but my dark horse for this match was Killshot. I'm going to stand by that. I'm going to say Killshot goes over, gets the Gift of the Gods title, and it allows us to see another dimension of him. You don't give him the best vignette, and granted, it turns out how it turns out, but his vignette to me was the best since the creation of Lucha Underground, and it allows them to build a character in Killshot. And this show is not just a wrestling show, it's all about building a world. I feel like Killshot has an opportunity to become one of the more interesting characters in the series, because he already is to me. So it'll give him a chance to really develop the character and keep putting on phenomenal matches, maybe give him bigger matches, more high-profile matches. And what better way to do that than with the Gift of the Gods title? So I have Killshot going over in a ridiculously good match. All right, this match, this one could also steal the show. That's the thing with Lucha. You know, I've said, how many have I said could be the match of the night? We are getting pay-per-view for free 3 weeks in a row. But we got my guy. I love it when the crowd calls him Johnny Puto. I just think that's the most organic heel taunt chant. And I love how he gives him the finger, gives it right back to him. He's a true heel. But his clique, Worldwide Underground, Johnny Mundo, Jack Evans, and PJ Black are going up against Phoenix, one of my favorite guys, Aerostar, and Drago. It goes without saying it's going to be a phenomenal match, so I won't even wax philosophical on that one. But I think the Trios champs retain. One thing I like, which I believe I said in a previous video, they're keeping them together as a stable, PJ Black, Jack Evans, and Johnny Mundo, which is perfect. You don't have to win the belt and then break up, then win the belt again. You can just keep these guys together as a stable. And I love a strong heel faction with personality, and these guys are all cocky athletes, guys and girl, Taya. So I believe Taya beats Ivelisse, brings that W back to her group. I think her boys retain, making the Worldwide Underground the stable to beat in Lucha Underground. And maybe Son of Havoc, Ivelisse, and Angelico come back next season, challenge them for the straps. They got to get healthy, though. Angelico's been hurt. Ivelisse has problems staying healthy, but they're a force to be reckoned with when they are healthy. So regardless of what happens next, I believe they keep the straps on these guys. But it's interesting, though, because if Phoenix and company win, Phoenix becomes the first Triple Crown champ in Lucha history. I don't think they mentioned that last week by accident. But then again, they're not as predictable as WWE. They're not just going to mention something as a little nugget to where you know, okay, they mentioned that, so these guys are going to win. But I believe Worldwide Underground is just getting started. They're a dope stable. They win the trios titles. And on to the main event. Monster Matanza Cueto versus my man, Cero Miedo. Pentagon Jr., the guy who's had the most organic uprising in Lucha Underground this season and last season. I believe he finally cashes in, he wins the big prize, and becomes the Lucha Underground champ. I believe that they'll take the championship reign from, Prince Puma Goody Two Shoes, Mil Muertes, a sense of dread, like always this dead guy. Something bad's going to happen to someone. Matanza Cueto, the seemingly unbeatable monster heel. I think they're going in a different direction with the radical, fly by the seat of his pants baby face, and I think it'll breathe a breath of fresh air going into season 3. And he's clearly going to be hunted because, you live by that Cero Miedo, you don't make no friends, man. They're going to be gunning for Pentagon Jr. after he wins the belt, which I believe he'll do, in a wonderful match. And all we can do now is watch. Now the fun part begins because this Wednesday, first round of Ultima Lucha Dos begins, and they've already been picked up for season 3. Already shot season 3. So we know we're getting more Lucha regardless. And we're basically getting the appetizer for season 3. But we're not going to rush it because Lucha is epic beyond compare. So I'm going to soak in and savor these next 3 weeks. But these are my predictions. I don't care if I'm right. I just want to be entertained. But either way, we'll all be watching pay-per-view quality on the El Rey Network. Once again, my name's Lerone Graham, and hey, baby, this is the Going Over Wrestling Show, and I love my lucha. I will holler at you guys later. As always, 1, 2, 3, and I'm out. All right.